Sup everyone, I'm your female otaku, and a lot of you guys for the past 2 weeks have been asking me, mainly on Twitter, to give you some advice for those of you who are going into whatever grade in high school. So I thought about it and I'm like, okay, sure, why not? Because even though there are a lot of those tips for freshmen in high school or tips for high schoolers in general, stuff like that, there's a bunch of those videos on YouTube, but the thing is that those are videos that are all by people who aren't like us. They're not geeks. They're not otaku. They're not any of that. These are the people who, you know, make nail polish videos, or the guys who just make, I don't know, whatever guy YouTubers do. They just do Let's Plays, right? Something like that. Just tell stupid stories, whatever. You know those channels that I'm talking about. They're not like us. The advice that they give you is not something that'll help us. So what I decided to do is to not only give you a little bit of advice here and there for those of you who are going to be a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and I will be going through each of those grades. So if you just want to look at for your specific grade that you're going into high school for, then I will leave the time for each grade at the bottom here. So just look at this as I continue to speak. Not only will I give you tips and advice, I will also give you a little bit of my high school experience from each of those years to help relate to you more, or perhaps to give you a little bit of what's to expect in that upcoming year. So I really hope this helps, and let me know if it does. I went to a public high school in northern New Jersey, so I'm not too sure if that's going to differ from other people, but you know, just saying it out there just in case. Where I'm from, geek culture is very popular, so I'm not too sure if this will affect you guys. Again, like, this is gonna differ from person to person, but anime and geek culture in general is really popular where I'm from, so it was easy to make friends like that. First off, we're gonna start with freshmen. Hello, freshies, as I like to call you. First, let me get this out of the way. It's not like the movies. It is not like the movies at all, okay? There's no bullies stuffing nerds in lockers or whatever. There's no tripping people in the cafeteria. There's none of that. Now, the food in the cafeteria, depending on your school, may or may not be the best, but you know, there's none of that stupid bullying thing, or at least in my school there wasn't. Don't walk in the middle of the hall. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that. As to get into the more geeky side of things, when I was a freshman in high school, I was not into anime just yet. I was into Marvel comics and things like that. Superhero world was my world, and you will still find a lot of people just like you. And you know, you still have your buddies from middle school, or if you're new to this high school, like you moved into town and this is like your first year over at the high school in that town and whatever, then you're gonna still meet a lot of people like you. Definitely join clubs. You now have a whole new world to explore with all these clubs and stuff, and you should definitely join. It'll help you make some new friends, and hey, even make friends with the senpais. Overall, freshman year was an okay year. You're gonna forget about it after you finish freshman year. It's not too bad. Just don't be that annoying kid that all the upperclassmen are going to hate. The kid who runs down the halls, the kid who talks really loud and yells. Then you'll never make any friends. If you want to get along with the upperclassmen, then just be cool, alright? Just talk normally, you know, walk at the side, don't walk in the center of the hallway, don't do it, and the upperclassmen will treat you right. Sophomores. So now that you are one with the upperclassmen and you are no longer a freshie, now you get to be the one that gets to either tease the freshie a little bit. You know what I'm talking about, when the freshie's just like, oh no, where, do you know where this class is? Do you know where this teacher is? And then you'd be like, oh yeah, you turn around and you go down the stairs and you make a right, when really it's like right next door. Like, you can tease them a little bit, alright? It's not that bad, it's okay. And sophomores, nobody cares about you. No one cares. You can do almost anything that you want and no one will give a shit, because no one knows that you exist. that's the weird thing with sophomore year. It's like sophomore year, everybody ignores. People, upperclassmen pay attention to the freshies because they're the new kids coming in, they're fresh off of middle school. People are just like, oh, they act like such little kids. And then juniors, you know, people are looking at the juniors because they're the ones that are going to be the seniors. It's like, wow, these guys are gonna lead the school. And then of course, seniors rule the school. So of course everyone's thinking about the seniors, but no one ever thinks about the sophomores. So what do? This is your last year of freedom. Well, sorta, because you still have quite a bit of freedom when you're a senior, but you know, junior year is packed with stuff, but I will get to the juniors later on. Since junior year is so packed with testing and you won't have too much time for fun, this is your year for fun. And lucky for you, you have a ton of opportunities to go to Sweet 16 parties. Go to all of them. Sophomore year was when I got into anime, and I met a lot of people just like me. Now, I was saying how anime and geek culture is very popular where I'm from, and a lot of my friends at the time, they helped me get into anime more and more. At that time, Attack on Titan just finished airing, so we were all onto that. Sophomore year, you'll find a lot of people just like you, and you'll make a lot of friends. But that'll change when you're in a junior year, but you know, I'll get to junior year in a sec. When you're a sophomore, it is a-okay to be a weeb. If you feel like saying kawaii desu ne, if you feel like wearing your Neko headband in the halls, it's okay. Because a lot of times freshman, sophomore year is a lot of people when they first get into anime, so they don't really know the way, they don't know what the difference is between a weeb and a otaku and elitist, they don't know that, so automatically you're going to act like a weeb and you're going to be saying things like kawaii desu ne out of nowhere, and that's fine. No one's going to make fun of you for that unless if you act like that on the internet, then you will be crushed. But in your school, no one will laugh at you for that because there are a bunch of people just like you who are doing the same thing. I just want to say this one more time. Anime is very popular in my area, so if anime is not popular in your area, then I really don't know what to say to you. Juniors! Oh, juniors. You're gonna need some help. You see, junior year is so packed full of testing. It's very hard to breathe. It's gonna be a lot of work, but don't slack off on your SATs. And even though you're supposed to start thinking about college when you're a junior, I did not think about college until I was a senior, and that's a-okay. Just focus on nothing but your tests. And if you fail the first time, well, hopefully you get a chance to take it again, but just try to do your best for the first time around, even with the practice tests, because my school failed to tell me that some of these practice tests could actually be useful for you if you want to graduate high school. Yeah, I didn't find that out till I was a senior. I bullshitted through all those tests, and I found out, oh, these could have helped me graduate so I didn't have to take even more tests. However, if you do have some free time, I do suggest, you know, still hanging out with your buddies. Junior year, I tried out a lot of stuff in junior year so that I wouldn't be just so crammed up with studying for tests. I still wanted to live, you know? You're still young, and heck, in my state, that's around the age, junior year is when you get your license and stuff and start driving and everything. So I still wanted to live, so when I had some free time from the studying, I went to my first anime convention. I watched anime movies with my friends. I joined a couple of clubs, and I also joined Color Guard, which is flag twirling for marching band during like the halftime performances during football games and stuff, and I joined with all my friends and everything. So make sure you try to keep a stable life as possible because it can get pretty chaotic. And one last thing, and this is really important, and this happens to everyone in junior year. Everyone changes. You will find out some things about your friends that you never realized before. Some of your best friends will turn into your enemies. Some people that you've never even talked to before, they might actually be becoming pretty cool to you, and you guys may even be friends, but your closest friends, they're not gonna be there for you in the end. Now, I'm not just saying it from just personal experience, because I've said this so many times to other people who went through junior year, and they say the exact same thing. So I know this is like true facts, okay? don't be sketchy of your friends. Try not to have trust issues because you don't want to be the problem that ruins your entire friendship circle. So make sure you watch what you say and your friends, again, you may find out things about them. You may realize, oh my gosh, I had no idea you committed murder. Like, no, that didn't happen to me, but I did find out that some of my friends were doing drugs. I found out that some of my friends were dealers and things like that. And some of my friends, for some reason, they stopped talking to me. I didn't understand why. It's strange. This happens to everyone in junior year. I don't know why it's junior year specifically. Maybe it's because they're ready to get out of high school. Maybe they're just ready to become a senior and they try all these new things over summer vacation. I don't understand. But try to at least have that one friend that you know will never leave you. Just try to at least have one, because your friendship circle may just fall apart in junior year and you want to at least try to have one of them at your side. Seniors, okay seniors, you know it all. You know how high school works and you are done. You already know that you're going to graduate and you already know what college you're going to, or maybe you don't know what college you're going to. And that's totally cool, because I didn't choose what college I wanted to go to until senior year. It's not like I chose beforehand or I knew exactly where I wanted to go. No, my plan was just to get into a college. So then I actually only applied to one college, which you really shouldn't do. You're supposed to apply to a bunch of them just in case, but I didn't do that. Anyway, since you are the king, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Do everything. You're gonna skip class? Go ahead, skip class. It doesn't matter. You're a senior. You already know you're gonna graduate. It is confirmed. Awesome. Unless if, of course, you've been doing some bad things and they told you you're not gonna graduate. In that case, it sucks to be you. Also, back to the college thing, don't be pressured to choose a major, because there's so many people, like literally a majority of incoming freshmen to college, they have not chosen their major, so it's a-okay. And prom is not a must. Prom is not a must, guys. Prom weekend, apparently that's supposed to be much better, but the actual prom dance, you don't need to spend all that money for prom. The trips, go on those trips, man. Go on the trips. You have your stable crew now. You've been through all the challenges of high school. You know who your crew is. So just go ahead, hang out with them, live. Freaking live. Because now you know what you're going to do. And if you don't know what you're going to do, well, don't worry. That's normal. When I was a senior, I ignored my one friend that ended up sticking with me after the whole junior year incident. So that really sucked, and I really shouldn't have done that. I should have, you know, still talked with her and everything. Like, she was trying to talk with me, but I ended up ignoring her because I was just, you know, really upset and stuff. And my mind was so into YouTube, I only focused on just YouTube. So I ignored her for that too. She'd be like, hey, you want to hang out on Saturday? And I'm just like, oh, I got work. When really I just had to watch the latest episode of Durarara or something like that. I was pretty alone throughout the majority of senior year, and at the end of senior year, you start to have a few regrets here and there. You just are like, huh, that person I never talked to, maybe I should have talked to them. And, you know, a lot of confessions will be made and stuff throughout senior year. Just, it's a fun one, but it can also be a boring one because you're just dragging yourself from class to class, just being all like, why am I here? I don't need to take this class anymore. I know where I'm going. I know what college I'm going to. Oh my gosh, you're literally a zombie in the hallways. You're dragging yourself from class to class, wondering what is your purpose in life. So just have as much crazy fun as you can. And that is all for this advice, tips, video, relatability kind of thing that should hopefully relate to a lot of you fellow geeks and or otaku out there. I know otaku and geek mean the same thing, but you know, I'm assuming that even the Star Trekkers and the Whovians and stuff are going to be watching this video as well, so that's why I'm just saying. We're female otaku, sayonara.